Connie, and we're going to be having a discussion today about the workshop we just saw about respect and acceptance. I have three of the Peaceful Solution teachers here with me today. I have Rebecca and Karen and Julie. And I'm going to start by asking, start with Rebecca here. I want to ask Rebecca a few things about, now we see that there's situations in the world that are owing to disrespecting of others. And some of the things that were talked about today was abuse and bullying and vandalism, and a lot of people wouldn't even see these things as being disrespectful behaviors, but we learned today that they are. So I'd like to ask you, Rebecca, what are some of the contributing factors that you see to these situations?
Well, we have many different factors. One factor, first of all, would definitely be upbringing, because if there is a lack of moral values from an early age, then children, when they grow up, they tend to be disrespectful towards others and their belongings. We also have environment, because the environment plays a very important part concerning someone's behavior. So if that environment is negative, then it will certainly negatively influence that person's actions. We also have peers, right? Because people tend to succumb to negative and disrespectful behavior because they want to be accepted by their peers. We also have role models, because sometimes people tend to emulate others because they may seem famous or glamorous or successful, but these same people may be practicing behaviors, doing things that bring hurt to themselves and to others.
Exactly. And I know that's one of the things that the first teacher focused on was about the training of the children and how important it is, because they emulate everything that we think, everything that we say, everything that we do. And she really stressed on that, about that. So how do you, if people began actually practicing respecting others, how do you think that this would benefit them as individuals and society as a whole?
Well, there will be a sense of calm and peace and security amongst all people, because people will then learn to get along better with one another, because they will be accepting one another. They wouldn't have to worry about anyone trespassing against their belongings or even violating them. And, though we have different values, if everybody were to accept one another and to be respectful of one another, then it will certainly eliminate the indiscrimination, we have the hurt, we have the suffering, even racism, and even the retaliation.
Right. And I know that was brought out too in that portion of acceptance, learning to accept one another, and you can do that by showing that respect. Now, let me ask you, Karen, and now tell me, how can respect actually reach out to all people and nations?
Well, I feel that, and we've learned with the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, that when you respect someone, it comes back at you. And just because it might not come back at you immediately doesn't mean that you still don't show respect to someone, because you just need to keep practicing it. And, it's in every situation. It's in spouse. Husbands need to respect their wives. Wives need to respect their husbands. Children need to respect their parents. Students need to respect their educators. And we don't see that anymore in society. And I really, it will trickle down, and then it will just be everyone, as Rebecca mentioned, everyone will just get along and there'll be peace.
Exactly. When you said trickle down, I know that the Peaceful Solution refers to it as the ripple effect.
Right.
The ripple effect. And then, Julie, let me ask you. Now, we were shown an equation of hatred, and couple of the things was intolerance. That adds to that equation of hatred. Racism, retaliation, discrimination, and we see that they are very prevalent today. So let me ask you, now, what comes to your mind when you hear these specific terms?
I was actually thinking about that earlier when the teacher was speaking, and I was thinking, when I hear those words, what comes to my mind is lifestyle, because it's the lifestyle that we as a society as a whole have, deemed whatever it is. We have different, ideas about what you should look like, or what you should believe, or what you should, respect or whatever. So it's a lifestyle, because in essence, if you think about it, really, lifestyle is your character, because how you live is how you present yourself. And so when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about when the teacher was speaking, how the respect and the acceptance went so much together. It's like you can't have one without the other. You can't respect without having acceptance, and you can't have acceptance without having respect. And I thought it was really neat how the peaceful solution teaches you how it's building blocks. And so you need, the character, the respect, the self-control for all of it to work together. So as society as a whole, we won't have that equation of hate. We'll have that equation of love.
Exactly. So you would agree with Rebecca and Karen that something as simple as respect can eliminate these prejudices. Okay. So we're going to move on. Now, Karen, we also learn about stereotyping and prejudice and discrimination, and how all of these are ways in which intolerance manifests in society today. Now, what are some ways that you have seen, have witnessed these forms of intolerance or lack of acceptance?
Well, and I believe just not only myself, but everybody has witnessed racism. We hear about the white supremacists. And the teacher did an excellent job today. And this is something that's really going to stick with me about the apples. They're all different. We're all different, but we have different skin color, different eye color, whatever. But you open us up and we're all the same. And with this program, if we teach it from the very beginning, or at all stages of life, if you just work with this program, it's amazing how it will help you to just tolerate the differences in people, because we have to be accepting, of that. We just have to learn to all get along. And like it said, we're 99.9% one race.
Exactly, and being at this webinar, and we're into our fourth day here, and I can see how everybody they work together. Mm-hmm. There is a respect and an acceptance for everyone here, no matter what the skin color is, no matter what country they came from, no matter the language that they speak. That there is that acceptance at the webinar here. So let me ask Julie, and speaking of diversity, because that was brought out too, and why do you think some people have such disrespect and an unwillingness to accept the differences of others?
I think people have the unwillingness to accept others is because they haven't been taught. If you don't know, I was thinking earlier, it's about how the apples. If you separate the apples, you see the outside, but until you open the inside and you see they're all the same, until you're taught that, mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're being disrespectful or not accepting, another culture or another language or another race or whatever it is that you're not accepting. Sometimes you don't even realize that until, it's pointed out to you. So on a whole, society needs to be taught exactly, what are the differences and how to learn how to accept those and respect them, because we're raised from tiny children, I was raised this way, or this is my family's tradition, or this is how, and how many times have you ever heard that in your life that, and it's just what it is, but it's not what it is. It's because, society as a whole has made that separation.
Exactly, and I like how you said that we are taught. We are taught to hate. Just like we're here now learning to be taught peace. And I know one of the participants in the workshop, she said that her father had a lack of tolerance for others, another race or skin color, those of another skin color. No, they aren't. Babies are not born to hate. They're very loving, and we can either nurture that hatred, or we can nurture, peace, this peaceful solution within them. Now, Rebecca, I want to move on real quick here. In acceptance, we learned that that's embracing the differences of others. So let me ask you, what are some ways that we can work towards respecting people of other cultures and nationalities in order to accept them?
Okay, well, firstly, we have to remember that we all have different values. That's one thing. And whilst their values may not mean as much to us as our values are to us, we still need to be respectful of what is important to them. Secondly, we need to take the time and the patience to be considerate of them and the things that are important to them and how they view things. And we also need to be considerate and try to learn about their cultures and their traditions and their views. And that way we will be showing care and concern to them, and we wouldn't reach to a point where we make them feel that they don't count.
Exactly, and these are all things that we have been learning throughout this webinar. Now, we're at a closing time here, but I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today, and we've got a few more days left in the webinar. And I want to encourage those who are viewing right now. I'd really like to leave you with the author, a quote that he stated. He stated that the only way the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program will not work for you is if you do not use it. It's a tried and proven program. It's used in schools, not only here in the United States, in the prison system, but also in other countries. So I'd like to encourage you to visit the website, peacefulsolution.org, or to call 1-888-613-9494.